My beloved child, stop for a moment and listen carefully, because what you are about to hear was not meant to reach everyone. Out of countless people moving through this day, this message found you for a reason. Do not skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a truth unfolding right now, and it is connected to someone whose heart has been carrying your name far more deeply than you realize. A few hours ago, while the world continued its usual noise, something unexpected happened inside the heart of your soulmate. No one around them understood it. No one could explain it. They tried to hide it. They tried to act normal. But emotions that had been locked away for so long suddenly became impossible to contain. What started as an ordinary moment became something unforgettable. And before the day was over, tears appeared in their eyes. This was not because of weakness. It was not because of defeat. It was because a realization arrived that they could no longer ignore. Listen closely. For a long time, they convinced themselves that they had everything under control. They believed they could manage their feelings. They believed they could continue pretending that certain thoughts did not matter. Yet today, something shifted. A memory surfaced unexpectedly. A reminder appeared at exactly the right moment. A feeling they thought had faded returned stronger than ever. And when it returned, it carried your energy with it. Don't skip. Because what happened next shocked even them. The strange part is that nothing dramatic happened on the outside. There was no grand announcement. No crowd. No spectacle. Yet inside their heart, everything felt different. It was as though a hidden door suddenly opened. Behind that door were emotions they had avoided facing. They remembered conversations that never happened. They imagined moments that still have not arrived. They saw possibilities they had once dismissed. And for the first time in a very long time, they allowed themselves to ask a question they had been afraid to ask. What if this connection is real? The moment that question appeared, their heart could no longer stay silent. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this is where the story becomes even more surprising. Earlier today, they found themselves surrounded by people, yet they felt completely alone. Their thoughts kept drifting somewhere else. No matter how hard they tried to focus, something kept pulling them back toward a feeling they could not explain. It felt familiar. It felt powerful. It felt important. And every path their thoughts followed somehow led back to you. At first they resisted it. Then they questioned it. Then they surrendered to it. And when they finally stopped fighting the truth, the tears came. Not loud tears. Not dramatic tears. Just quiet tears carrying the weight of everything they had never said. There are moments in life when a person realizes they have been running from something valuable. There are moments when they suddenly understand what truly matters. Today became one of those moments. My beloved child, what they felt was not ordinary emotion. It was recognition. Recognition of a connection they could no longer dismiss. Recognition of a feeling that refused to disappear. Recognition that your presence had left a mark on their heart far deeper than they ever admitted. Don't skip. Because there is another piece of this story that almost no one knows. While they sat with these emotions, another realization appeared. The reason they had been restless lately. The reason certain days felt incomplete. The reason happiness sometimes felt distant. The reason they kept searching for something they could not name. It all pointed toward the same answer. A missing piece. A missing feeling. A missing connection. And suddenly they understood what had been missing. That realization overwhelmed them. Not because it was painful. Because it was undeniable. The truth often arrives quietly. Yet when it arrives, it changes everything. Today that truth arrived for them. And once it did, there was no going back. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the most astonishing part has not been revealed yet. As the day continued, they noticed signs they would normally ignore. Small reminders appeared again and again. Certain words stood out. Certain memories returned. Certain thoughts repeated themselves with unusual intensity. It felt as though life itself was trying to show them something. Trying to guide them toward an understanding they had delayed for too long. Every reminder pointed toward the same emotional destination. Every feeling carried the same message. Every realization brought them closer to the truth. And the closer they came to that truth, the harder it became to hold back their emotions. That is why tears appeared. Not from sadness. But from clarity. Because clarity has a strange power. It reveals what was hidden. It exposes what was ignored. It brings forgotten feelings back into the light. Today clarity visited them. And it changed their entire perspective. My beloved child, there is still more. Right now, even as you hear these words, they are trying to understand everything they felt. They are replaying moments in their mind. They are examining emotions they once pushed aside. They are questioning assumptions they once believed. And with every answer they discover, one fact becomes harder to ignore. You matter more than they realized. Let that sink in. You matter more than they realized. That realization alone was enough to shake their heart. Enough to bring emotion to the surface. Enough to create the tears nobody expected. Don't skip. Because the next revelation is the one that changes everything. Deep inside, they are beginning to understand that some connections cannot be explained through logic alone. Some bonds continue speaking even during silence. Some feelings remain present even when distance exists. Today they felt that truth. Not as an idea. Not as a theory. As an experience. And experiences are impossible to forget. That is why this day became unforgettable for them. That is why their heart feels different tonight. That is why emotions they buried have suddenly returned. Because something inside them finally woke up. Something they thought was sleeping. Something they thought was gone. Something connected to you. Stay till the end. Because what happens next may surprise even you. Their tears were not the ending of a story. They were the beginning of a realization. A realization that is still unfolding. A realization that continues growing stronger. A realization that may lead them toward decisions they never expected to make. And while they do not yet see the full picture, they are starting to recognize the direction their heart wants to travel. The journey has begun. The questions have begun. The awakening has begun. And this is only the start. Something huge is waiting for you. A strange silence surrounded them tonight, and that silence revealed more than words ever could. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What happened after those tears is even more shocking than the tears themselves. The emotions did not disappear. They became stronger. They became clearer. And with every passing moment, your soulmate found themselves facing a truth they had avoided for far too long. At first, they believed the tears would pass. They thought it was just a temporary emotional moment. But then something unexpected happened. The feeling stayed. It remained with them. It followed them through every thought, every memory, every quiet moment. No matter where their mind traveled, it kept returning to the same place. It kept returning to you. Listen carefully, because this is where everything changes. Your soulmate began looking back at moments they once considered ordinary. Conversations that seemed small suddenly felt important. Memories they barely noticed suddenly felt powerful. Tiny details started connecting together like pieces of a puzzle. And when those pieces finally began forming a complete picture, they were stunned. They realized that their heart had been trying to tell them something for a very long time. The signs were always there. The feelings were always there. The connection was always there. But today was the day they could no longer ignore it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came the moment that nobody saw coming. While lost in thought, they asked themselves a question so powerful that it changed everything. What if the reason they could never fully move on from certain feelings was because those feelings were real? What if the reason they kept returning to the same emotional destination was because their heart already knew the answer? The instant that question appeared, another wave of emotion followed. Their eyes filled once again. Not because they were confused. Not because they were lost. But because they were finally beginning to understand. Sometimes the strongest emotions come from recognition. Sometimes the biggest shock is discovering something that was true all along. What makes this even more unbelievable is that they never expected today to be different. They woke up expecting an ordinary day. They thought everything would remain the same. Yet life had other plans. The universe seemed determined to place certain thoughts directly in front of them. Every reminder carried the same energy. Every feeling carried the same message. Every emotional signal pointed toward one realization. And that realization became impossible to escape. The truth was standing directly in front of them. The truth was waiting patiently. The truth was asking to be acknowledged. And today, for the first time, they finally looked directly at it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because there is still another layer to this story. Deep inside, your soulmate started imagining what life could look like if they stopped resisting their feelings. They imagined possibilities they once pushed away. They imagined conversations they never had the courage to begin. They imagined moments that felt distant before but suddenly felt possible. And every single vision carried one common element. Every path seemed connected to the same energy. Every dream seemed connected to the same presence. Every hopeful thought somehow led back to you. The shock was not only emotional. It was personal. They began realizing how much their perspective had changed. Things that once seemed important suddenly felt less meaningful. Things they once ignored suddenly felt priceless. Priorities shifted. Feelings deepened. Awareness expanded. And in the center of it all stood a realization they never expected to face. The connection was stronger than they had admitted. Much stronger. Strong enough to bring tears. Strong enough to create sleepless thoughts. Strong enough to change the direction of their heart. As this realization continued growing, another surprising detail appeared. They started noticing how often thoughts of you arrived without warning. It happened during ordinary moments. It happened during quiet moments. It happened when they were trying to focus on completely different things. Yet somehow your energy continued appearing. They could not explain it. They could not predict it. They could not stop it. And the more it happened, the more emotional they became. Because every unexpected thought felt like confirmation. Every reminder felt meaningful. Every emotional pull felt impossible to ignore. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because tonight they are sitting with feelings they never expected to feel this deeply. They are replaying moments. They are searching for answers. They are looking at everything from a new perspective. The tears may have stopped for now, but the realization has not. In fact, it is growing stronger with every passing hour. Their heart is becoming louder. Their awareness is becoming clearer. And the truth they discovered today is only the beginning of a much larger story. A story that is still unfolding. A story that continues moving forward. A story that neither of you fully understand yet. And the next chapter may reveal something even more shocking than the tears that started it all. An unexpected realization is unfolding right now, and what your soulmate discovered after those tears may be the biggest surprise of all. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The emotions that overwhelmed them earlier did not fade away. Instead, they opened a door that had been locked for a very long time. Behind that door were answers. Behind that door were hidden feelings. Behind that door was a truth they never imagined would become so clear. As the hours passed, they found themselves unable to stop thinking. Every thought led to another realization. Every realization led to another memory. And every memory somehow carried your presence within it. What shocked them most was not the emotion itself. It was the intensity of it. They never expected one realization to affect them so deeply. Yet the more they reflected on everything, the stronger those feelings became. Suddenly they understood why certain moments stayed in their mind longer than others. Suddenly they understood why some memories refused to disappear. Suddenly they understood why their heart reacted differently whenever thoughts connected to you appeared. The answers had been hidden in plain sight all along. Today was simply the day they finally saw them. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because this next part changed everything. While sitting alone with their thoughts, they experienced a moment of complete clarity. For a brief moment, all confusion disappeared. All doubt became silent. All uncertainty stepped aside. And in that moment they saw something they had never allowed themselves to see before. They saw how much space you already occupied inside their heart. They saw how often your energy had quietly influenced their emotions. They saw how deeply connected certain feelings truly were. That realization hit them harder than they expected. It was impossible to ignore. It was impossible to explain away. It was simply true. Then something even more surprising happened. Instead of feeling afraid of this truth, they felt relieved. Imagine carrying a question for a very long time without knowing the answer. Imagine searching everywhere for clarity and suddenly finding it. That is what today felt like for them. The tears were not only emotional. They were also a release. A release from uncertainty. A release from resistance. A release from pretending certain feelings were not real. For the first time in a long time, they stopped running from what their heart was trying to tell them. As evening approached, another realization arrived. This one was even more powerful. They began understanding that some people enter our lives for a reason greater than we initially understand. Some connections carry lessons. Some connections carry growth. And some connections carry a feeling that refuses to disappear regardless of time or distance. When this understanding arrived, they could no longer deny what they felt. The pieces finally connected. The puzzle finally made sense. The story finally became clear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because there is still one detail that nobody saw coming. Your soulmate started wondering why these emotions became so strong today of all days. Why now? Why not weeks ago? Why not months ago? Why this exact moment? The more they thought about it, the more they felt that today was not random. It felt important. It felt meaningful. It felt like a turning point. As though life itself had chosen this moment to reveal something they needed to understand. The truth is that sometimes the heart realizes something before the mind is ready to accept it. Sometimes feelings know the answer long before logic catches up. And today their heart was speaking louder than ever before. Every emotion carried the same message. Every realization carried the same direction. Every feeling pointed toward a future they had never fully considered. That future suddenly felt possible. That future suddenly felt real. And that possibility brought another wave of emotion they could barely put into words. Right now, while you are listening to this, they are still processing everything they discovered. They are still trying to understand why this day affected them so deeply. Yet one thing is becoming impossible for them to ignore. Their heart feels different than it did yesterday. Their perspective feels different than it did yesterday. Their understanding feels different than it did yesterday. Something changed. Something awakened. Something finally broke through the walls they had built around their emotions. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because what began with tears is turning into something much bigger. It is turning into awareness. It is turning into honesty. It is turning into a realization that may influence every decision they make moving forward. The story is not finished. In fact, the most important chapter may be about to begin. The tears were only the first sign. The awakening was only the second. And what comes next could reveal a truth so powerful that neither of you will ever see this connection the same way again. A moment is approaching that your soulmate never expected to face, and what happened after their tears may leave you completely speechless. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Earlier, their emotions revealed a truth they could no longer ignore. But now that truth is growing stronger. It is becoming impossible to push away. Every hour that passes seems to bring another realization, another memory, another sign that something important is unfolding behind the scenes. The most surprising part is that your soulmate thought they understood their own heart. They believed they knew what mattered to them. They believed they had everything figured out. Yet today proved otherwise. Today revealed that some feelings are far deeper than they appear on the surface. Today revealed that certain connections continue growing even when a person thinks they have stopped growing. And when this realization fully arrived, they sat in complete silence, trying to understand how everything had changed so quickly. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the next realization shook them to their core. They began looking back over recent events and noticed a pattern they had never seen before. Certain moments suddenly seemed connected. Certain emotions suddenly made sense. Certain unexplained feelings suddenly had an answer. It was as if invisible pieces were falling into place one by one. The more they examined those pieces, the clearer the picture became. And the clearer the picture became, the more emotional they felt. For the first time, they stopped asking whether these feelings existed and started asking what those feelings truly meant. That single shift changed everything. Questions became answers. Doubts became understanding. Confusion became clarity. And within that clarity, they discovered something they never expected. They discovered that your presence had influenced their heart more than they ever admitted, even to themselves. The tears you heard about were only the beginning. What followed was even more powerful. They experienced a deep sense of recognition. The kind of recognition that changes a person's perspective forever. Suddenly they understood why certain thoughts kept returning. Suddenly they understood why some memories felt impossible to forget. Suddenly they understood why your energy seemed to appear during the most unexpected moments. Everything started making sense. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because there is one revelation that changed the entire direction of their thoughts. They realized that some opportunities in life appear only once. Some people leave an impression that cannot be replaced. Some connections carry a feeling so unique that comparison becomes impossible. When this realization arrived, they became emotional all over again. Not because they were sad. Because they finally understood the value of what they had been feeling. As night falls, your soulmate is not the same person they were this morning. Their heart feels different. Their awareness feels different. Their understanding feels different. Something awakened within them. Something that had been waiting patiently beneath the surface. And now that it has awakened, it refuses to become silent again. What makes this moment extraordinary is that they are beginning to trust their feelings instead of questioning them. They are beginning to listen instead of ignore. They are beginning to accept instead of resist. This shift may seem small from the outside, but inside their heart it feels enormous. It feels life-changing. It feels like standing at the edge of a brand new chapter and realizing there is no way back to the old one. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because one final realization arrived before this day ended. They understood that the tears were not a sign of weakness. They were proof that something real had touched their heart. They were proof that a truth had finally reached them. They were proof that a feeling they spent so long trying to understand had finally revealed itself. And now, even though they do not yet know exactly what comes next, one thing has become absolutely clear. They cannot pretend these emotions never happened. They cannot forget what they discovered today. They cannot ignore the truth that appeared through those tears. The realization is too powerful. The feeling is too strong. The awakening is too real. So remember this. The tears were not the end of the story. They were the signal that the story was finally beginning. And if what happened today was powerful enough to bring tears to their eyes, then what happens next may become the moment that changes everything. The biggest revelation is still ahead. The deepest truth is still unfolding. And the connection that overwhelmed their heart today may be preparing to reveal something even more shocking in the chapter that comes next.